Dollar Smart 99 cents App Store. Located at 4811 Diesel Beach Way in Richmond. Telephone number 604-207-0072.
For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.
Philippine News Canada is brought to you by Rayford Media Group.
Hello mga kabayan! Narito na ang pinalawak at pinalakas na coverage ng Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver Nationwide. Mga pangunahing balitang nakalap ng aming news team para sa linggong ito. Mula sa silid balitaan ng Philippine News Canada, kasama ang aming mga field reporters and news correspondents, ako po si Rosette Correa. At ito ang Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver.
MLA Mabel Elmore nagtawag ng meeting tungkol sa caregivers.
So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. My name is Mabel Elmore. I'm the MLA for Vancouver Kensington, and I'd like to welcome you to my office and thank you for joining to hear the stories of caregivers. I want to start by acknowledging that we're on the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, and we respectfully recognize them and the opportunity to work and share our stories on their land. We're here today. I'll give you a bit of a background, and then we'll hear from the speakers, and then we'll open it up to question and answers afterwards. So I was invited to attend the annual general meeting of the Multicultural Helping House on July 27. When I was attending the AGM, a number of concerns were raised that were very concerning, ranging from conflict of interest of board members, from questions around governance, to irregularities of the previous AGM, calling into question the validity of the election, from doctored membership lists, from financial transparency, issues around, and also a number of businesses operating and targeting the clients and caregivers at the Multicultural Helping House. These were very concerning reports, and since then I've been reaching out and talking to former board members, staff, caregivers, clients, to really get an understanding of what was happening there. And since then, I've spoken to dozens of people and have been very concerned with what I heard. And we're here today to hear from some of the women who want to share their stories. I want to just say that these are not easy stories to hear. It's very difficult. Many of them are painful, and it's not easy for the women to speak up. Many I spoke to were scared to speak. They were scared of retaliation, of being bullied, which is a common theme that I heard. And so
Nagpatawag ng isang meeting sa kanyang office si MLA Mabel Elmore upang mabigyang liwanag ang mga hinaing ng mga caregivers tungkol sa Multicultural Helping House or MHHS. Ayon sa kanila, imbes na sila ay tulungan, sila ay nirecruit di umano na sumali sa isang multi-level marketing scheme by members of the agency's board of directors. Kasama rin sa kanilang reklamo na sila ay binentahan ng mamahalin na insurance products by then President Tatay Tom Avendaño and members of the agency's board of directors. Ang mga transaksyon ay ginanap sa agency's building and sometimes before and after their participation in a settlement program na isang malinaw na conflict of interest.
My name is Jeanette Dotmas. I came to Canada July 1st, 2014 as a caregiver. I was I was introduced to MHSS by a friend. I volunteered because I found the community to interact with other caregivers, and I know it will help me with a variety of services that would widen my knowledge what Canada is, the rights and restrictions of caregivers. It was a great place, so I started volunteering at MHSS, got engaged with the activities of the caregivers. I was offered an insurance by Norilyn de los Reyes. The presentation was amazing. It's all about investment for retirement. So I signed a contract with a new policy from Equitable. Sometime 2016, I was elected vice president of the We Care group of caregivers and was changed to caregiver advocates when I was elected president. There was a harmonious relationship with my co-officers and members of the group. We raised funds for the in-crisis caregiver, one of which is the search for Miss Caregiver, which we raised a lot of money through the help and participation of all the members of the caregivers. Everything went smoothly. Everyone rendered their services, volunteering to build a community for caregivers. After a year of my insurance policy in place, I became interested to change career into insurance industry. When that when the time comes that I am legal to work as an agent. That was the time I studied my policy and found out it was not what I expected it to be. So I canceled my policy. After this, conflict arises. The caregiver advocate was suddenly dissolved. It was so frustrating, and I really felt devastated when Miss Lisa Calusa, our caregiver coordinator at that time, told me that Tatay Tom advised her to dissolve the caregiver advocates without valid reason. What about my co-officers? What about the members who gave their full support, rendering their services to come up with a mission and vision to create a community where they can be a part of? Dissolve, that's it, without due process. My most concern is what happened with the money raised by the caregivers. Who is handling now the affairs of the caregivers? Each of us have the right to know. We all have the same goal, to help each other, to advocate caregivers, newly immigrant, temporary foreign workers, that there is MHSS to go to, that there are a lot of services provided to help them with. We need to stop unnecessary business activities not related to MHSS. This is not a marketplace. Insurance is not part of MHSS. Travel agency is not part of MHSS. Co-op is not part of MHSS. Each is a separate entity. Each has its own way of helping people, but definitely not part of MHSS. I believe if these activities get integrated with each other, it creates conflicts and chaos. My call now as a caregiver is let us rebuild the integrity of MHSS. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Ang MHHS ay under investigation ngayon for widespread financial irregularities, conflicts of interest, governance issues, and bullying and harassment of caregivers who declined to participate in their business dealings.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeanette. Next, I'd like to ask to speak she came in as a caregiver to Canada. She volunteered at the Multicultural Helping House Society, became a staff member, very dedicated. I'd like to introduce Rhea Villavicencio. Vicencio, thank you.
It's okay.
Rhea.
Hello, I'm Rhea Villavicencio. I came to Canada at 2004 as a caregiver. I came across Multicultural Helping House Society when I'm about to take my practicum, to do my practicum after I got my permanent residency and after I completed a community support worker social services diploma. After I finished my internship and successfully graduated with the program, I was offered a staff position as a part-time senior program assistant. I was so excited with this opportunity, working with the seniors, and I enjoyed the programming. After a year of working with the senior, I was offered a job, a full-time admin and program support. I chose this job even though I will receive a lower rate with no benefits compared to what I received from my previous job, because I know this is more fulfilling and this is my time to give back to the community. And also I'm hoping that, I can help the caregivers and empower them. I even invited my families, my 4 kids and my mom, who were all newcomers that time, to volunteer to MHSS in order for them to meet other people, to learn about the community, and to learn how to give back. I was so happy with my job. I put my heart into it. I even volunteered during the weekends. I started to feel the disappointment when I witnessed, while I was on the reception, there were clients waiting, sitting on the waiting area, and the president, Thomas Abendano, encouraged the clients to buy insurance, while Norilyn de los Reyes was seated with the clients. There was other incident when I received a call from a hospital asking for help for a Filipino in need. I asked the president, Mr. Thomas Abendano, if MHSS could help. But again, I was disappointed with his response. He said, MHSS could not help him. He even asked me to lie and to take the call, to lie for him, and to tell the hospital, tell them I'm not here. There was even a time when there was a Filipino from Alberta who came to Vancouver looking for a job and a place to stay. He came to MHSS asking for help. Again, I asked Mr. Avendano if we can provide him a place, because I know there was a vacant space in the housing. It was Mr. Avendano who decided who can stay in the housing. He refused to allow the Filipino or that guy to stay in the housing. I was devastated. So what the staff did was we collected some money, gave it to him so that he could buy food. The next day he came back to MHSS, and that's when I found out that he stayed the night at the cemetery across the MHSS building. When I heard about this, my passion to do my job died, and I wanted to quit right away. I even experienced to be a target of some of the boards. That was when I received a warning from another staff telling me, hey, watch out. Norilyn de los Reyes complained to Thomas Abendano because you were not smiling to them every time they goes to MHSS. My daughter, who was volunteering at the reception that time, she felt the hostility of some of the boards because they found out that she was my daughter. She felt that she's not welcome anymore, up to the point that she doesn't want to volunteer. So it came to the point that I couldn't stand what's happening at the MHSS. I lost respect to Tom. I keep on getting feedback from the clients telling me how Tom sell them insurance, and the clients felt that they need to buy the insurance before they can get the services. I felt helpless because my concerns were raised but not addressed, and nothing was done. So that's when I quit. My desire to help and to volunteer for the community, especially for the caregiver, is still within me. That's why I'm calling this exploitation to stop. So I'm hoping that, it will be stopped. And enough is enough.
For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.
Dollar Smart 99 cents Op Store, located at 4811 Diesel Beach Way in Richmond. Telephone number 604-207-0072.
Zumbathon is on! Ang Zumbathon or the 2019 Reggaeton Dance Party ay gaganapin sa Vancouver Convention Center sa downtown Vancouver sa August 24, Saturday. Ang event na ito ay in support of the Canadian Liver Foundation and it runs from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Buy tickets and do the Zumba on 3 different times, from 10 to 12 p.m. or from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. with BC Zin, or 5 to 9 p.m. with Zin Joshua and Zin Jason, together with guest Jopay, and be one of their sponsors. To donate money and help promote the event, help promote it in social media and word of mouth. For tickets and sponsorships or to get more information, please contact Jen at 778-938-7170.
So thank you very much, Rhea. Next, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. She came into Canada as a caregiver, also started working at MHHS, and has continued to be an advocate. So I'd like to now introduce our next speaker, Crisanta Sampang.
I arrived in Vancouver in the summer of 1988. I have been actively volunteering in the immigrant serving field, but since I came, but mainly I volunteered with caregivers. 3 years after I arrived, I got my landed status, and I went back to school and had been working in the media ever since. Afterwards, I went freelance. In 2012, I met Tatay Tom when I was working for a story about the Multicultural Helping House. At that point, Tatay Tom was a legend in the community. He was my hero. He had achieved what other Filipino community leaders had been trying to do for 30 years before that. He was able to mobilize and encourage a lot of influential volunteers to help him raise funds and start the Multicultural Helping House Society. When I met Tatay Tom, he asked me if I wanted to work for him. And I was so starry-eyed. I said yes. And when I worked for him, I was given the title as live-in caregiver coordinator and media specialist. I love my job, and my mission is to help empower caregivers. I believe strongly in Tatay's vision. Towards the end of my term at the MHHS, Mr. Avendano told me to stop promoting other agencies' programs. Those agencies could do their own publicity. Although I didn't see the logic of that, because we didn't run those at the Helping House, I stopped because he asked, but I was very disappointed. I was at the office almost every day and had also witnessed some of the things that Rhea saw and talked about. I realized at that point that the MHHS had become less of a helping house and more of an agency that now served the agenda of a few select people. My hero was a figment of my imagination. When he said he wasn't renewing my contract, I was actually relieved. Despite all this, I still have good feelings about the MHHS. It's a special place where the staff and the volunteers had done great work despite the odds. In the good times, it had been a place where caregivers found refuge and belonging. It's worth keeping. What we need is a complete changing of the guards. My message to the caregivers today is do not give up on the helping house. You can help rebuild it by being brave, by telling your stories. Together we can make it happen. As well, my call is we have the following recommendations towards improving the MHHS. We want to stop the exploitation of caregivers and newcomers and end the conducting of private businesses at the MHHS. We want to replace the current board of directors with a qualified and independent board. To conduct an organizational assessment of the MHHS to identify and address the many corruption and governance problems present. To conduct a forensic financial audit of the MHHS for its last 10 years. And of the Multicultural Helping House Foundation for the period since its establishment. To return the money with interest of all MHHS co-op members requesting a refund. We also have a plan to revive and encourage the caregivers to form a group and keep going. Because this is the only way that the caregivers can fight for acceptance and recognition and justice and to avoid exploitation.
These are 3 brave women sharing their stories today. I've talked to dozens of former caregivers and staff and clients of MHHS that have recounted similar stories of being systematically targeted for businesses, being targets of harassment and intimidation, and being treated disrespectfully. So, and I know there are many more who want to speak but are scared because they feel targeted and victimized. The origins of the Multicultural Helping House, it's not one person. It's not Mr. Avendano. That there was a collective effort and leadership from the community, and really a dream and a vision for a place where everyone in the community could have a home and be supported and get services that they need to be successful. So that, that desire continues in the community. And right now, Multicultural Helping House Society is in a crisis. The community is coming together. I'm asking for the community to also listen to the stories of the caregivers and to come in and support them and to really stop the exploitation in businesses that are operating at the MHHS. It's unacceptable. For the board who is involved, there's also a conflict of interest that they should step down. There needs to be an organizational assessment, which Crisanta has outlined, to identify the areas that need to be corrected, and an audit, a forensic audit in terms of the many irregularities that you heard today, many others that have been reported, questions around the handling of cash at the society and also the foundation. So these are very serious stories that we've heard. There are many more, and I support especially, it's inspiring for me. And I want to appreciate the courage of the women to speak. There are many more. There are many more caregivers who I know are scared. They told me they're scared. They don't want to speak because they'll be targets of victimization. So I support the call to end the exploitation, to end the targeting of businesses, at caregivers to end the harassment and the bullying. My message is for caregivers to stand up, to speak out. It's wrong. You should not be targeted. You should not be intimidated. I'm asking the community as well to stand up against bullying. There's also the concern that these women, after speaking out, will be targeted. And I know that there are clients going to MHHS now that are scared to speak. And so this must end. It's unacceptable. And I stand with the caregivers, and my support is for them and certainly of the society and also of our government. So thank you for your courage, and thank you for your efforts. We have to, I want to make the point as well, the problem is not the MHHS, the problem is not the staff there, who you heard are incredibly committed and do a great job and service the clients and the caregivers. The problem is not the volunteers. Clearly, and these issues range back as well from the previous AGM, which is allegations.
Nagpapasalamat po kami sa aming mga sponsor, ang Dollar Smart 99 cents and Up Store sa Richmond, ang Kabalen Sweets Restaurant and Catering sa New Westminster, at ang 88 Supermarket na may 2 branches na sa Killarney at sa Victoria Drive. Maraming salamat po. At dito na naman nagtatapos ang aming balita para sa linggong ito. Kung kayo may mga komento, mga issue o balitang nais niyong ibahagi sa aming programa, ang PNC ay bukas para sa inyong lahat. Mag-email lamang po sa balitangvancouver@gmail.com o tumawag sa 604-588-6397. Ako po si Rosette Correa at ito ang Philippine News Canada, Balitang Vancouver.
Dollar Smart 99 cents Op Store, located at 4811 Diesel Beach Way in Richmond. Telephone number 604-207-0072.
For Filipino and other products from Asia, as well as fresh fruits and vegetables, poultry, meats, and seafood, come and visit 88 Supermarket with branches at 4801 Victoria Drive and its new location at 2611 East 49th Avenue in Vancouver.